aware. Rage is like probably more physical. Yeah, and when I've really been pushed to an edge, it's just a freedom in it, man. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncontrolled.
Yeah, uncontrolled. Yeah. I'm taking my power back.
Yeah.
But some might call it unhinged, and I love
Yeah.
I like that word.
unhinged.
I don't think it's a bad word.
Delightful.
Well, and I wanted to ask Melinda, because you're in one of my favorite episodes of Seinfeld.
Oh.
And it's the one where Joey shaves his chest.
Oh, that is full of rage.
Well, and so it ends with, and it's, it's one of the show's only genre episodes also, but it ends with him becoming frustrated with these unrealistic beauty standards. And so we see a man like breaking free of that. And so in the 90s, I feel like women weren't really allowed to do that, especially like in mainstream titles. How do you feel like feminine rage has evolved over the years, and where do you think it is now?
So weird that I'm not commenting or
loves this
judging, but
episode.
it's odd. You took an episode of Seinfeld called the Muffin Tops.
It's all I can do not to scream muffin to you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I just did it.
Yeah, which was just like a silly, that was very funny to experience and watch. God, I was just talking about, the 90s were odd for young women. I mean, I was just explaining to somebody mentioned a movie, and we love talking to you all, and it's, it brings up things for us. It's kind of like, it helps us kind of learn and process, and I could tell stories about this movie, but I remember a particular thing, it being a very challenging movie, or somebody brought up another movie I did, and I said, well, that's one I regret, and that person wanted to know why, and I said, because the producers were trying to be exploitive, and I signed the nudity writer, and now they want to add things, and the director's saying, you don't have to do this, we're going to try to get you to do this, or if you're doing nudity, and then all of a sudden the Teamsters are on set, and you say, no, close set, and some guy says, I don't know what the big problem is, I'm going to see it anyway, and you're 23 years old, and you walk home going, I'm going to quit this industry.
Yeah.
Or, and I'm not sure how, if I don't know if that has anything to do with I think the beauty standards have changed, but at the same time, it's even more so when you look at what people are doing.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
like, there's like, I know that going into my 50s, I'm like, oh, I look different on camera, but there's one brain who says, one side of me says, okay, who cares? And the other side of me says, oh yeah, but everyone's doing deep plane facelifts, why not? And then people say, please don't do that. And so it's all about acceptance. I don't know. The standards are still there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that answering your question?
Oh yeah,
It's like giving the illusion of choice a little bit.
Beautiful answer. Especially about the experience of having to be beautiful or perceived as beautiful. I think the only thing that's kind of changed is that people have to be more aware on set. It's like check off boxes. Like we have intimacy coordinators now. If there's an intimacy scene, when before there wasn't any of that. But though I will say I have experienced even like this past year, where I asked for intimacy coordinators for all the women, no matter what, and they're like, well, that actor doesn't want one or need one. And I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Too bad.
I don't care. It needs to be mandatory. There needs to be safety. It's just that when you're younger, you're afraid to ask for what can protect you, but you're already so exposed. When you're acting, the beauty of it is the feeling of real freedom, and being wholly present with other people. There's nothing like that feeling in the whole world, because I think that's what we're all searching for anyways, is to be present with one another. With intimacy and beauty, it's like, what is beauty? Beauty is in all things, it's just, again, I think that now people just have to say they're doing a better job at not judging, and there's a lot of work to be done.
Well, and so rage-filled women often are depicted as monstrous or scary, and we've mentioned the words unhinged, but also like freedom and liberation in that. Do you ever find yourself nervous to kind of cross that boundary? Because it's one thing to be messy, and we love a messy woman.
Wow.
It's one thing to be messy in your private life, and it's another thing to be messy for the entire world to see. Do you ever find yourself nervous to go there, or do you find yourself hitting a boundary with that?
I can think of, so I played 2 characters that were cast as a woman at the last second, and it was the killer in the Purge TV show, and then it also, I don't know if anybody watched Dirk Gently's Illicit Detective Agency, where I played this sort of monster that kind of talked like that and was covered in blood and dirt. And I remember on set, I did this subconsciously, but I was like, make me as disgusting as I could be, because I think it got away from the beauty standards in a way that I felt like if I really dig into that, I'll be able to kind of perform it better or something. But that was ultimately kind of driven by fear, I think. You know, I find myself more afraid in auditions where I'm like, and I never get these parts, but where I'm like the pretty mom, or like they make me audition for these fucking things and I never get but yeah, it's the beauty standards I think it is getting better. But to me, yeah, it's one of the scariest parts of acting, you know, because how many people in this room are like, wake up and they're like, look in the mirror and they're like, perfect. This is exactly what I need to do. You know, it's not, nobody feels like that.
Little hand up.
Did that answer some question? I think I
I'll admit, it's ingrained in us.
Yeah.
We've all been doing this since we were kids, basically, and then there's a part of you that has, at some point, you're like, wow, imposter syndrome. I'm only getting the roles because I might look a certain way, kind of like. And I've had to do some personal work. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't know what I do. Yeah. I mean, just, and I'm like, I own it. I'm good. but it is true that you definitely think we're so sometimes insecure. Like, why didn't I get that or what? But I think as you get older, there's a part of me that being a perfectionist it's a losing. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. Don't ever try it. You find out. But I think I'm like, oh no, I'm 56. I feel good and I'm happy for it.
You should.